Welcome back. Today we're discussing the hidden struggle that so many varicose vein patients suffer with. As I've already told you, varicose veins are incredibly common. Well over 30 million Americans are affected. It's well documented that varicose veins are very common. What's not well documented are the social and psychological issues that these patients face. A recent study titled "A Study of Social Isolation in Patients with Varicose Veins of the Lower Extremities, a Scoping Review," much better title than the last one we talked about, shed significant light on the issue of social isolation in these varicose vein patients. Social isolation is often categorized by a lack of social interactions and weakened connections with others. It can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. For patients with varicose veins, the visible and often painful nature of the condition can exacerbate these feelings, leading to a withdrawal from social activities and other types of interaction. Well, there were several that stuck out. First off, increased risk of social isolation. Patients with varicose veins are at higher risk of experiencing social isolation due to the physical and psychological burden of the condition. Let's face it, people with huge, ropey varicose veins, they don't want to show their legs, they cover them up, and then sometimes they go one step further, which is just socially isolating themselves. There's an impact on mental health. The study found a strong correlation between varicose veins and mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. The visible nature of the condition often leads to self-consciousness and a reluctance to engage in social activities. I know I'm being repetitive here, but it's worth repeating. And I want you to also consider patients that have leg ulcers. Those ulcers, not only are they painful, but they can weep, they can cause a mess, and that further isolates patients. It's been well documented that patients with ulcers have much higher rates of depression and anxiety. And lastly, the need for comprehensive care. That stood out in this article. Researchers emphasize the importance of addressing both the physical and psychological aspects of varicose veins. Healthcare professionals should be aware of the potential for social isolation and be ready to provide information and support to help these patients maintain their social connections. How can we, as healthcare providers, mitigate against the effects of varicose veins on patients' mental well-being? We must adopt a holistic approach to patient care. In fact, I digress a little bit. There's an amazing quote by Carrie Sussman, who is very well known in the wound care field. And she says, "We have to treat the whole patient, not the hole in the patient." So let's get back to this holistic approach. Number one, we have to encourage social engagement. Patients should be encouraged to participate in social activities and maintain connections with their friends and family and loved ones. Number two, we need to provide psychological support. Healthcare providers really need to offer counseling and mental health services to patients with varicose veins so that they can deal with the emotional impact. Lastly, raising awareness. We've got to educate not only our patients, but all healthcare providers about the impact that varicose veins have. Let's face it, knowledge is empowering, and it can help us take proactive steps in maintaining everyone's social well-being. Well, if you're dealing with varicose veins and you're really suffering, just remember you're not alone, and I hope this video helped. If you have pain, swelling, aching, throbbing, heaviness, fatigue, night cramps, or restless legs, if you notice big varicose veins or an open wound in your leg, please give us a call. Any questions, go in the comment section below. Have a great day.
Say social isolation 10 times fast.
Social isolation. Yeah, that's a hard one.